We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about the bull market 2025 indicators, the most important, most relevant indicators, and whether we are more to the beginning, the middle, or the end of this cycle, and which indicators help determining this and keep a view on the reality. I thought I'll do it a little bit different this time, not bombarding you with irrelevant noise and news, but rather just hanging out with you, looking at these indicators, and therefore we are jumping directly into the charts and looking at what Bitcoin is showing us right now. We are sitting at 107,000, and don't worry, we have a lot of indicators that we can look at, but I think for most of you that are subscribed to this channel already, and hopefully you have smashed the like button by now, this is relatively clear, right? Bitcoin is in a really, really nice setup and is very, very likely headed higher, right? We know already, or as a premise, we know, okay, money is expanding, Bitcoin should go up, but is there more? Are there cycles? Are there indicators that show the contrary, or at least that cloud the picture a little bit? Let's check it out. So starting out with Bitcoin, we see that we are in an area of major resistance. Every time that Bitcoin tries to do anything, it gets rejected. We have a little bit more of an all-time high, but right now we are forming somewhat of a flag scenario here, to be honest, which is a bullish continuation pattern, right? Let's see. For the macro factors, right, before we go deeper into signals and so on, we have to see that tomorrow there is a Fed rate decision. The market sees no rate hike. Well, the poly market, though, bets on, rate cut, not hike. The poly market, though, bets on a cut, just to keep that or get that out of the way. Technically, you could go here in the very short time frames, which you know that I don't care about that much, and you could argue that here we might have a flag, and if we would take that flagpole as a very, very bullish target and we put that in here, assuming that there is a breakout, we would go to 135,000, which is coincidentally the bull market top target that we have on this channel for the better of a couple of years. It's a very conservative target, I know, but I think this could happen. It doesn't have to happen, right? So this is the short term. Let's look quickly at the longer term after a while, after we have pumped, and let's take the weekly chart, okay? So we can still kind of see this bull flag scenario on the weekly chart, but on the weekly we also see that we have actually found support on top of this previous resistance range. So we have basically flipped the 100,000 level into support. Now we want to see the continuation leading us to 120, 130,000 and so on. On the weekly, we see that the stochastic RSI is basically in the upper part. We do see that we might be wiggling around in that part. We had a little bit of a bearish phase, but we did not enter the blue zone on the weekly, so momentum could shift here positive, leading to another pump. We are on a weekly bull cross imminent, which usually, when bull crosses happened, led to bigger rises in Bitcoin price. So that says up, right? The only indicator that I really care about is the monthly. And here I want to go back into the logarithmic, so everything that I drew in is actually relevant. And here we do see that actually we have this mega setup, which by itself signals that we should go somewhere to 130,000. Big fat inverse head and shoulders, let's not forget. Broke out, flipped this level into support very, very nicely and clean, and now has basically started the continuation. Okay, so this is the support setup. Let's get to the first indicator, my favorite indicator of all times, the TSI. Many of you that are subscribed know already that I am looking at the TSI. So this is the TSI. And the TSI has so far called two tops correctly. Right? Well, if you want to argue about this is a 3-hour-long video material to argue whether this or this is the real top, right? In monetary sense, this is the real top. In a cycle sense, this is the real top. And in an inflation purified sense, this is a lower high, okay? So there is a lot of discussion which one is the real top. Indicator-wise, you see also on the RSI that this is the real top, also in sense of RSI, and also in the sense of the stochastic RSI here down below. You see that this was the real top. So that means for me that the TSI has called the top correctly also in that cycle on a monthly basis. That doesn't give you the absolute all-time high, right? You would have sold somewhere here between basically this top 64,000 and somewhere on the way to 30,000 based on just that, right? But it would have called a bear market here, and you would have spared all of this pain, right, that happened here, and you would have still been right. Okay, so that is what it shows to me. Similar for the bull crosses, we have here a bull cross. So it called this run, and we have a bull cross here now. And we did have a correct bull cross also here, all the way down here, where it called the bull market in this area here in the 16 cycle. This is the first where this indicator basically emerges. So we have 3 bull market calls and 2 bear market calls, and very likely, very soon, we will have another top call and then bear market call based on that, right? So to answer the first question here of the that I've given myself for the Crypto Morning Coffee stream is this just the beginning, or is this is this a setup for the last leg? Is this the end of the Bitcoin cycle? And I would say we are more to the end of the cycle. We have been in this bull run for a long time. We see it here, right? We see the basically the bottom here in 2022. We have been in a bull run since 595 days already. 913 days already. So almost 1,000 days of bull run with a 595% return. So that's almost a 7x on Bitcoin. And I think that is what we have to keep in mind. Because we always read on Twitter or an X, whatever, right? On social media, we read, oh, the bull market has just started. Look at that, right? The indicators disagree with that, and also cycle timing wise and so on. At least for Bitcoin, we disagree, as we have this whole 3 years basically of action, almost 3 years, for Bitcoin here in front of us with a very large return, right? If you would be honest, like, I mean, where do you get an asset so secure that gives you a 6x, a 7x over the time of 3 years, right? It's almost impossible to find. We're still going to new all-time highs, so we don't know how many x's we will have in the end, but we are almost there. So what do we expect on this indicator? You can add this indicator for yourself here on the top to here on the not here on the indicator side, and then you go just TSI, and then you will find the true strength index, not the trend, but the true strength index, and that's how you add this indicator to your chart, and then you can draw a downward sloping line where I expect that we are going to hit somewhere in maybe August. Following this trend right now, we should hit in September. You know that this changed because when we were looking upward like this, we said, okay, then the party is probably over already in March or April, so this changes. If this goes very, very slow, we might see it somewhere in September, October, whatever, right? Which also means that our price development is then slower and steadier than if we have a big fat pump and this just looks to the upside. Can this downward sloping line be broken? Yes, of course it can be broken. It can be broken, but so far the trend is your friend, right? Next indicator is the RSI. I think it's a very relevant indicator throughout the last years. Every bull market has been correctly ended in the upper zone beyond 80, and profit taking has been very relevant in that zone as well. Here we did even overshoot the trend line in the 2017 cycle, and here we are correctly holding it again at 91. So one of my let's say views on this is I want to see the RSI also be in that higher range beyond 80. Yeah, that would be somewhere here. We did not reach it this cycle yet. It never looks the same, yeah, but we in every cycle we went beyond, even beyond 90. So this time I'd say many people are looking at that. So 88 is the target range here for the RSI. So there's a lot of room to pump for that, right? Yeah. So I think the RSI. We are not even overbought at the moment on the monthly basis, not even. Okay. This also only develops in months. So according to, if we want that RSI to be in the 88 zone, we actually have to give it a couple of months. That doesn't develop in 1 or 2 months, right? So this is a little bit where the indicators don't fall in line perfectly, and we say, hey, which of these is going to be wrong, right? And the third one that I'm looking at is, and this was also something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we had this this bounce here, that we have this bull cross coming in on the stochastic RSI. And we see that whenever we have bull crosses coming in on the stochastic RSI on the monthly, we do have massive pumps following it, okay? So we have this bull cross here, and the pump that followed it until the next one was, well, actually, the pump that followed it until we have just another one was basically, okay, so let's take this. This was a 89% move, and then here we just had a new one but the overall thing can be seen as a one major move. And then an almost 200% pump out of this one here in the upper area. And then we have this bull cross, which led to this, basically this pump, which was a move 100 to 115%. And now we have another one, right? We have another bull cross here at this zone, and we are currently up 36%. Okay, so I think we can, or this will result in more, especially the way that it's developing. So I think we have way more upside in front of us, which is supported by the other factors, right? So the TSI has more room, the RSI here has way more room. This one has way to go, so we could easily go here into September, October, maybe even November, to the upside until we reach this upside, right? Maybe even forming something like this. So there is room time-wise for this bull market to unfold more and to bring way more returns for Bitcoin. Okay, so yeah. Let's welcome the rare hodlers in the house. So Pro Legendary, good to see you. What's up? What's going on? And also Stevo the Devo, what is going on? And let's also welcome everyone else. And by the way, guys, smash up the like button if you enjoy just going over some indicators. I wanted to change things up, so if you appreciate that, then be subscribed and smash the like buttons. With Diviners thing, awesomeness redefined, thank you. And Mark D, pump it, Janet. Yeah, exactly. And Matt Hoon says roll call. Okay, not sure what that means though. But given the turmoil and the noise in the world, we're looking pretty good, right? If that is resolved in a deal, Israel-Iran situation, for example, if it's resolved in a deal, we might see the markets even more in green. Markets like peace treaties. So if that's possible, then that would be good. Other than that, we just might see some choppiness in the markets. What about the future, or so let's say front-running indicators, right? Hey Troy, what is going on? Present, so thank you also for that. We have the DXY, and this is another signal, and the DXY has just printed a major signal. Okay, so recapping, what is the DXY? DXY is the dollar measured against a basket of other currencies. So for example, Japanese currency, the European euro, the Brazilian real, the Indian, what is the Indian? Rupee, the Indian rupees, and so on, right? So basically, the dollar it shows us if the dollar is strengthening or weakening, right? And a weakening dollar has traditionally led to Bitcoin pumps. Here we see the last two bull markets. We should be able to overlay Bitcoin here in a price scale, and you basically see, okay, you almost don't see it because of the how tiny Bitcoin was, but here you see, if you put it a little bit above, that the dollar fell, and here in the pink line, sorry, how can I move this up? There we go. And here on the pink line, you see the moment the dollar fell, that bull market started and ramped up until the dollar found massive support. And that's just before that, that's where the bull market ended, right? Here we see it also. The dollar peaked and fell. And when that happened, when the dollar started falling, the bull market went on a rampant phase until we printed a double top here, which basically initiated the bear market here, right? So, and you see also the double bottom in the DXY led to a double top in Bitcoin later. So it's actually front running. It's one of the few indicators or signals that is actually front running what's happening. We also see it here in our present bull market. the DXY peaks high, Bitcoin completely wrecked on this upward move, right? Bottoms, so basically DXY peaks and starts falling, Bitcoin bottoms after it. Only here Bitcoin bottoms. So this fall is front running this pump out of Bitcoin, and then we have this choppiness in Bitcoin, this long sideways choppiness on exactly these, like these pumps to the upside that frequently happened in the strength of the dollar, right? So the dollar is, in fact, front running what is going to happen to Bitcoin. Now we see here we start falling out of the dollar, and Bitcoin still is falling because of that, right? So Bitcoin is lagging behind, and then the turnaround. So I would argue that Bitcoin is somewhere in this move, and we have just started a major signal here. So we have this support for that has a lot of confluence here for the DXY, and we just lost the support for good. We had many fake outs. Here we have a fake out. Here we have a fake out. It always recovered after that and led to some ugly sideways downward action in Bitcoin. But this time we have a bearish retest and a continuation to the downside. And this is very likely where this sharp move to the downside happens. That happened also here. And towards the support line at about 90. And once this happens, it will take some lag. And it's already happening. It's already happening right here. We already see it. Also, this week is red. We are now below 100. And I think this is just, as this is lagging, right? And we basically we do not have priced in this first part of the DXY going down. My theory here, but I think it's supported by a lot of examples from the past. So I think the DXY just gives us a major signal for the last leg of the bull run, which, if you remember back to the first part of this live stream, coincides with the TSI, with the RSI, with the stochastic RSI, with the Bitcoin setup that we're seeing. They all fit together, yeah? In my opinion. Compassionate TV says, what was the best decision right now according to the market narrative at the moment? What do you mean? Like, what is the best decision based on what? Like buy, hold, sell, or alts versus Bitcoin, or what do you mean? So this is a weekly chart, of course, and so these situations need some time to unfold. But you can also see that here it was relatively quickly in the end to come down. It was about 175 days, 168 days until the DXY reached the bottom. So that would be about 6 months. Yeah, that would be then in the end of it. So if we would take the same time from here to here, 186 days total, we would end up in the end of October, which coincides again with what the TSI shows in terms of the direction. Anita Cho says, I'm going to keep buying for the next 9 months. Dom Wu, what is going on? Send some love for PH. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Smash up the like button if you like this. But more or less that coincides with everything that we are estimating. Cycle-wise, right, we said, okay, we have until the end of the year, November, maybe December, until Bitcoin tops out. Here we would have in that same time frame, look at the end of October. The TSI is looking at September, October, right? So I think, hey, it's about 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 months. We don't know. And I think this is the most important thing. We just don't know. It's just, we are trying to get a little bit of an edge here by looking at the stuff and trying to form an educated guess where things are going. But we don't know. And especially the shorter the time frame, the less accurate the predictions are. On the longer time frame, we can say, okay, it's going up, right? Mustard Man says PH is the GOAT. Thank you very much, man. There we go. we do have a setup that says the altcoin season is very likely happening also relatively soon in the cycle, but we have some resistances, right? And I'm just showing that to you, that usually when altcoins are coiling up in that way and Bitcoin and Ethereum is outperforming, that means we are rather to the end of the cycle, right? So we see total 2 that includes Ethereum. So total 2 is a little bit weaker. What happened with my mouse? 1 second. Okay, there we go. The total 2 is a little bit weaker than, for example, the total 3. But what we can see here very nicely is we are getting compressed in this upward sloping range, exception of this fake out here, or not fake out. Maybe it's more like, okay, we have some kind of a cup potential handle compression here. We need to break this resistance, but this would be very, very good for altcoins, right? And just to supporting this claim, you look at the total 3, for example. It's a little bit similar setup. It's actually almost the same, right? Almost the same, just that it's a little bit stronger, a slightly little bit stronger here. And we're really waiting for this risk on phase to start, where the monetary easing policy really kicks in and people start allocating money into more riskier investments. And I think this cycle took longer because of that, because the monetary policy was not ready. The last picture for the altcoins is not the last on the stream, but the last picture here in the sequence is there's basically this other setup, and this other setup, that it could also form something like a cup and handle. Yo, what is going on? Have a coffee on me. Yo, thank you very much, Mustard Man. I'm drinking coffee right now, but thank you for the $8 Australian, is that? Much appreciated. So thanks. I will have a coffee on you. Yeah. Or maybe a German sausage with mustard for the mustard man. I think that would fit in the $8 Australian. The others, which is basically all altcoins except the top 10, no stablecoins and no Bitcoin, right? Is weaker. You see that here, right? We are still at this trend line, really clinging on, trying to not lose the support here. And so you see that, which makes sense in the cycle phase. The total 2 and the total 3 are strong, and the total 2 is a little bit Yo, Dom Wu, what is going on? Donated 571 without any message, but thank you so much, man. Appreciate that one as well. Here for the so another coffee is guaranteed, basically. So thank you very much. Make it a beer. Okay, so you go with the sausage for the sausage with mustard for the mustard man, and a beer on Dom Wu. Prices are about right. That's great. Thank you very much. I will have that on you guys for sure. Picture coming in the exclusive Rare Hodler Telegram group. Once I did that. Thank you, man. So I was saying, so it makes sense in this phase, the total 2 and the total 3 being stronger than the others, right? So stronger than this one, because of the money flow that usually happens throughout these phases. So if you would, for example, go ETH BTC, I did show that in just the other day in the stream, but I will pull it up again because people they don't see that. So during, and we can overlay maybe Bitcoin here as well. Oh shit, sorry for that. Get rid of that and put it in a new price. So if you do that, you want to do a comparison, you put it in a new price scale, then it's not messing up your chart, okay? So basically we see how Ethereum got wrecked against Bitcoin in this cycle. Yo, Troy, keep it going. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, guys. That Okay. $10. Keep it going. Yeah, it's sure. What is this for more beer to the sausage? Because that could escalate quickly, right? If that is a guarantee, then I think that's two more beers on top of that, and that that could complicate things. Yeah, that could complicate things. But I mean, I'm a German. I cannot say that three beers is too much. Like I should say three beers is the start or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see what we make out of this. If you guys continue like that, I'm probably not heading to work, or so I have to head to a bar if you guys continue like that. But probably more for like an evening program. Yeah. So I was saying, but thank you very much, all of you. This chat looks beautiful. Like, look at these messages. Wow. Thank you very much, guys, and smash up the like button. No, I smash up the like button for you guys. There you go. So I was saying that this is the first time in a very, very long time that Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin on a shorter time frame and didn't put in a new low just right after that. So we had all basically since the bear market bottom of Bitcoin massively outperformed Ethereum. And if you're looking at other charts, I mean, it's the same for other altcoins. So Bitcoin went on a tear, and it makes sense from the narrative, right? Because this was Bitcoin's year. Yeah, this and the other year, these were Bitcoin's years. Bitcoin ETF, the SEC basically declaring Bitcoin an absolute commodity. Bitcoin strategic reserve in the US without buying mechanism, but strategic reserve. El Salvador ignoring the IMF completely, aping into Bitcoin. Oh man, Mustard Man, it's yeah, why not? Thank you very much. You guys really want to have the hype train going today, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm flattered. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. I'll just keep going here on the charts, man. Thank you very much, guys. So yeah, I lost the train of thought through that though. So you guys gotta give me a minute here. I'll take a sip of coffee, see if my neurons react. That's amazing. So I was saying that yeah. So Ethereum at the same time, where it was Bitcoin's year, had a very bad year where Vitalik was, I don't know, dancing and singing on the stage, and people got frustrated with the scaling of Ethereum. And I think that's over. So there was a narrative shift also around this, where it's okay, a clear focus, Ethereum L1 scaling, that's the only thing that matters, yada yada, right? So there's a reason to put money into Ethereum, but institutions were always betting and building on Ethereum, right? So Ethereum will come back strong, in my opinion. I think it will lead the charge for the altcoin season. I just don't know when, and here we are back. I just don't know when this will happen, right? Not exactly the when. It can be tomorrow. We will have to see if Ethereum continues to outperform here, right? But we see it back here. It was a little bit different, right? So Ethereum continuously outperforms Bitcoin, like back and forth, and then in this last pump, Ethereum pumped even harder, and that's something we don't see collectively out of the altcoins. We have some altcoins that are way stronger than Ethereum right now. So, for example, Solana. If you look at Sol USDT. You do see that Solana did that actually. Solana pumped with Bitcoin, okay, in the USDT terms. But if you go Solana BTC, you see that Solana also didn't really outperform Bitcoin, right? So you see here, do we have a longer chart for that? Maybe by Binance. Here's a Binance chart. Okay, there we go. So we see, okay, so here, Sol outperformed BTC in the first leg, held strong in the correction, but now it's also getting wrecked against BTC. So BTC is really stealing the show at the moment. The question is, when will it basically flip the switch? And here it was different also, right? Here Bitcoin pumped, Solana was in its infancy, but then once Bitcoin started topping out even, last phase, it started really rallying. And I think this is going to happen for a lot of altcoins, that once we are actually in this top building phase, that there will be massive pumps out of the altcoins, because altcoins have been neglected so much. By the way, did you guys see that Pump Fun got blocked on Twitter? Like the suspended. Pump.fun got suspended on X. So maybe that will initiate the real altcoin season, so that, like Elon said, man, Doge doesn't get love and so on. we just block the stupid site now, so that people don't waste their money anymore. In maybe it was also against I don't know, a local law or something like that. Hey, Bernard Donaldson, what's going on? Good to see you. So yeah, that is that. Okay, so back to the bullish indicator. So I have something that I think everyone should be aware of. It's called the bull market peak indicators. Sell at the top. It's coinglass.com. You can pull it up without premium account, and basically it's a list of 30 indicators, and it has a counter here how many indicators are calling the top. Okay, so right now it's 0 of 30 based on the previous working indicators. Of course, they could theoretically all fail, but they say hodl 100%. Okay, so be patient. So we have the pi cycle top indicator, right? So the pi cycle top indicator, for example, doesn't show. Actually, it's something we should look at. Let's see if we can look at the pi cycle here, if we have a link. Yeah, there we go. So the pi cycle top indicator basically says whenever the 111 DMA and the 350 DMA cross, then the top is in, right? So it has there are better ones out here. Is basically here's a cross, top is in, right? The upward cross. So here's a cross, the top is in, right? Here's the cross. The first, by the way, the pi cycle indicator also called the first top of the last cycle, not the second one, right? It's one more evidence for that being the real top, and the other one being in high inflation driven secondary top. And now you see that they are not converging. Okay, so this one is updated on 11th of June. Yeah, so it's not probably you have to pay the premium or so for the last week, but it really doesn't matter, because right now they are so far away, they have not converged. So you need either a very steep pump like here to converge them fast, or you need to climb for a long time until they are converging. Okay, so either the pi cycle indicator is not working anymore, or what the fuck? Troy with a $15 donation, topping it off. Guys, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. Yeah. The bull market is definitely on in this channel. That is for a fact. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for that one. Really appreciate it. It's spiraling out of control. It's coming. It's becoming a, I don't know what a fat meal that is becoming with a lot of beer or so, if we are still in that narrative. But if you guys continue like that, probably probably I have to invite some family members or so to get this done, right? If we are continuing like that, I need help. That's for sure. Yeah, thank you very much, Troy. Appreciate it. So we do have wow, we have 40 minutes of indicators already. Wow. Okay, so that's a pi cycle indicator. But back to the list. So basically, none of these indicators have hit yet, right? So the pi cycle indicator, the pure multiple, should be at greater than 2.2 and so on, right? The rainbow chart is now up a little bit, so has increased. Should be greater than 5. So that's the level in the rainbow chart, like the color level where you have to go, and then basically the top indicator hits if a color level is hit in the rainbow chart that has marked a peak before. The days of ETF net inflow, actually, ETF net outflows, we currently have inflows. We do not have any subsequent outflow days. It should be more than 10 outflow days, so that would be a very big lagging indicator, but still we don't have that. We are at 0. Unseen. Domvu, another 571. Keep doing what you do. Good things are coming. 100%. Thank you very much. Very motivating, I would say. Thank you for all these messages, though. Guys, but in all seriousness, you have to leave something over to stack sats. Don't throw it all on me. Yes, I really appreciate that, and I definitely can use the money. But thank you so much. There we go. Not going to reject any money here, right? Just telling that. But yeah, thank you so much. I don't know what to say. I'm just rambling on here. Ivor says, good morning. Have you minted Metacade Drop Zone NFT dropped yesterday? No, I did not, but I saw it, and also I saw the perks that it's going to give you. So did you get one? I think this pass like gives you stage unlocks and so on. So I saw a post about that. Metacade. Anyways, the list of these 30 indicators, you can go through it. On the right, you can click basically to get to the indicator, right? Another one is mentioned here is the MVRVZ score. I think it's a very relevant indicator. I have pulled it up somewhere. Where did I put this? Oh, there we go. I already pulled it up. So the MVRVZ score basically says how much we are overshooting fair valuation. So basically, what's the circulating market value of a Bitcoin minus the realized value, right? And usually, when we are topping out, this MVRVZ score is basically spiraling out of control, going up, and peaking hard in a very, very high MVRVZ score zone, like going to 10, okay? This is not the case right now. In the other, or here we have at least a 7. I think we should maybe take that as a benchmark. In the previous bull market, right? I max minted 3. Yeah, congratulations. That's great. So here we see we did already reach a level of only 3.2 or 3.3, if you would. What is that exactly? 3.33. And right now we are not even close to that, right? So based on the MVRVZ score, which is a green line here, right? We are nowhere near. We are looking like this here. So we're expecting this last leg up, bringing us to, if there's a diminishing MVRVZ score, then at least I would say bringing us to 5, right? We aren't there yet. We don't see anything like that, okay? So, yeah, this is, I mean, there's so much more like fear and greed and 200 moving average, blah, blah. There are so many more signals and indicators that you can use. And all these sites, they give them, so for example here, okay, MACD indicator doesn't, there it is. Moving average, convergence, divergence indicator, and so on. You can look at all of these indicators on these sites. They are basically for free. So yeah, there is a lot going on. Let's take a couple of moments to check out the market. So altcoins are red again. We do see the Bitcoin dominance still rising, right? We are almost back to the cycle highs, which were at 65.4%. Now we're at 65.8%. This is not an altcoin season. Definitely not, right? So it naturally, altcoins are being ragged. I'm still of the opinion that if you believe that there is an altcoin season and we believe in our analysis that altcoins will do well, then this is a good time to either load up on altcoins or just stick to a DCA plan, to grab the most, let's say, the most convincing projects. This is not a purchase recommendation or anything. You do your own research, but if you would just look at this today and you say, okay, IMX is a really solid project, it could do really well in an alt season, then you could say, okay, today I'm getting almost a 6.6% discount on a daily basis, and even a 16% discount on a weekly basis for IMX. IMX sitting at 819 million. IMX, in my opinion, can still do a 5 to 10x if there is an altcoin season. I don't see a problem, or I don't see anything why IMX shouldn't go to 8 billion. So a rough 10x, for example. Or you could say, oh, hey, VeChain is at this 11% discount here on the week. We can let's pull up the VeChain chart here also, because we have it in the altcoin spotlight on the channel. Don't miss the sale. Messed my chart up here. There we go. So VeChain, by the way, is also massively underperforming Bitcoin, as we do see here, right? Bitcoin is up, VeChain going sideways. I still believe that VeChain holding the support is then bullish, right? So we don't want to lose the support. Let's get rid of the Bitcoin chart for a second, because we made our point. I do believe that VeChain, for example, like all other altcoins, will over time will perform well if we get this again, right? This massive rise. I think we should. Let's see what forms here. Double bottom, triple bottom, I don't know. But right now, VeChain is not doing that great. Let's look at VeChain BTC. I bet it reflects exactly what I said before. Yeah, there we go. So over all this time, it would have been way better for to be in Bitcoin than in VeChain, right? Which is why many of the professional traders, they are sitting in Bitcoin, and at a certain point, they are rolling that into the altcoins. You could argue that you have somewhat of a falling channel here that goes on for a very long time. So for how many sats you basically get X VeChain, right? And I would argue that the moment the altcoin season starts, you should see a bigger pump out of VeChain and against Bitcoin, right? And then hopefully, like falling channels, they usually break to the upside. So we'll probably, and at some point, see VeChain outperforming against Bitcoin, which we did see in the last cycle. In the last cycle, we have these moves, right, up. And this is the picture that most altcoins have, right? Most altcoins somehow have a picture like this or similar. Yeah, not everyone has the same, but you see also Ethereum. Ethereum makes this curve, right, instead of a falling channel. But that for VeChain, just as an example here, against Bitcoin. And many altcoins are performing like this against Bitcoin, which is why the dominance of Bitcoin is showing the exact opposite of what we just saw out of VeChain. And the end game is somewhere here. Why doesn't it paint? Okay. Somewhere here we will find a resistance for for the Bitcoin dominance, but it can be as high as this, can be as high as 70%. Maybe it's before. We don't know. And then we'll collapse like here. And once we're collapsing, all hell breaks loose in the altcoins. Good morning, Ernie from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings to the US. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Ernie. We are 50 minutes in rambling through the indicators. Yo, smash the like button. Yeah, Trucking Hank, what is going on? Good to see you as well. I hope you're doing fine. Greetings to the Canada. Greetings to Canada. Funny thing is also, I wanted to show you this as kind of an underlying signal. Yo, Ernie, $10 sticker. Are you guys crazy? Thank you very much. Yo, thank you very much for that sticker. Morning Flow, what is going on with the Bitcoins? Thank you, Ernie, so much for the donation. Ernie keeps the hype train going, it seems. I wanted to show you this. This is the S&P 500, right? So you have these boom and bust cycles basically over a long term. This is the weekly chart. And hello, fellow hodlers. We just had this falling right in February. We had basically a crash with this is the unraveling of the carry trade plus escalation in Russia plus escalation now in the end. The funny thing is, like, you have Israel, Iran going on, market doesn't care, right? So in the end, I would say this is the financial tightening. It doesn't really relate to any other events, plus the carry trade, maybe 20% downside in the SPX, S&P 500 index. Now we are back to the highs already, okay? So we are about to challenge and breach new highs. This means, for me, and this is reflected by the Nasdaq, you see the same thing. Nasdaq being tech, being risk on, meaning people went risk off, 25% sucked out of the market from June 25 all the way to, wait a second, why does it say June? Sorry, from February 25 all the way to March 25, so 1 month, and maybe April, went risk off, and now it's risk on. Yo, thank you very much, Troy. Nice, Ernie kept it rolling. Oh my god. What the? You guys are crazy. You guys are really crazy, man. What the heck is going on? Risk off. Risk on, whatever. Thank you very much. I didn't even count. Like, I didn't even count anymore. Like, what is that? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 donations. Wow, that's crazy, man. What the heck? Oh my god. Thank you very much, Troy, for keeping it rolling, for keeping the hype train on. Finito Magaluf, what does that mean, MV? I don't know. I think a deal with Iran could be a major trigger for break towards all-time high. Yes, like, the funny thing is the market goes a little bit wobbly when things are unraveling and the market has uncertainty, but then once uncertainty turns into certainty, no matter what, it's basically going nuts, right? Hodlers look into DEFIX, profits from foreign exchange trading gone 200,000 per month, 750,000 month recently, insider millions of tokens unlock. Yeah, Definity X is that by Definity, right? That is that. Mustard Man doesn't even bother anymore to put in a message. It's just a laughing smiley there. Thank you very much, man. It's like, you guys are. It's unreal. What the heck? Pro Legendary said next donation, patient do a lap dance. No, No, we're not. We're not there. This is a morning coffee, man. What the heck? No, of course. Like, also, whose lab? I mean, what the heck? Can we define that at least? No, that's definitely not happening. Also, I don't want to get banned. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. By the way, we need we need a new cool drop on Vivi to do another drop stream, right? I'm really eager to do that again. That's also a lot of fun. Anita chose whatever the bears are. Is that a bear market? What you're predicting, Anita? Is that a bear market? Do it on your chair. No, no freaking way. Sorry, Mustard Man, but 7.99 Australian dollars is definitely not enough for that. And also, that doesn't mean that you should donate way more or so. It's not going to, like, the lab, that's not going to happen. I mean, yeah, definitely not. What the heck? Domvu says, I had wildest dances in the morning though. Congratulations, like, good for you. It's good to learn more about the community, for sure. Trucking Hanks is it's the Omi fans, right? Omi fans? Like this? Yeah. Too soon. It's too soon, yeah. Maybe we rename the Rare Hodler group in OnlyFans or so, right? The Telegram group that we have with all the Rare Hodlers in it. Yeah. By the way, we did get some really nice, let's say, outside pictures there from one of our fellow Rare Hodlers. That's really cool. So, people are doing cool stuff, right? Definitely. So that is nice. But you have to be subscribed as a Rare Hodler, obviously. The Nerd Robert says, Bitcoin rallied to 138,000 and dumped back to 60,000 in 2026. That could happen. If that happens, I'm going full degen at about 60k into Bitcoin. Like, I'm going to try to at least get like another 20-30% of a Bitcoin then. If I can get more, I would do more. But yeah, the longer it takes to get there, back to these levels, like 60 or 70,000, the longer I have time to pile on cash. But what's important in that game, in my opinion, is that the money in altcoins multiples now, so that I can take that to then get Bitcoin in the next bear market. Yeah, that's what should be happening. Ernie says, Patient was along the edge of the dance floor with a drink, not dancing. What the heck? What do you mean? If you're referring to Auxier, what happens in Auxier stays in Auxier, right? So that's definitely not the thing. Let's get, like, okay, so the whole thing, like, with dancing, drink, whatever, right? Next Vivi event where we can get all together, right? That's where you will see. Altcoin season is ended forever. That's exactly the reason why I think it isn't, because everyone is saying that. Everyone is telling that story of altcoin season having ended, right? Inside source is trust me, bro. Yeah, exactly. Nico says, what happened to the guy that had an insider information and made some bold prediction? Oh yeah, you mean Rooster, right? Remember Rooster? I think his name was Rooster. In the beginning, he had a chicken, or like a cock symbol. And I was like, should I call you cock? He was called Rooster. And he said, what did he say in May? He said, like, that we have to sell from 1st to the 16th of May, but then from there it's outright bull market and going nuts. I remember Rooster. Yeah, you're right, Nico. That was the insider source of it's going completely nuts. You see how like people want to believe that, but maybe he was so much on the inside that they got rid of him because before he could spill the beans. Maybe that was the reason. Like, or he watched the analysis and came to another conclusion, and now he's afraid to admit it. Who knows? But you see, people since like April, June-ish, since like 70 days, people go all in NASDAQ back to all-time highs, right? This is an all-time, like we're back to all-time highs. You basically have this resistance here. Once this breaks, risk on is basically back on, right? So it's basically flying. That's what I'm saying just here. Fed probably not cut any rates this year. We'll see. Actually, when you're saying probable, I have the probabilities for you. I have some probabilities for you. So we do have 1 day and 10 hours, and the chance of no rate cut is 99%. Then on the next one in July, the market sees a cut chance of 14.5. For September, the market sees a cut chance of combined almost 70% this year for one cut. And then for October, the market is almost sure on a cut. And then for the last one in the year, December, there's only 5.6% of the market saying there's no cuts. So I'd say, yeah, I go with Ernie to say 2 cuts in the fall or in the end of the year. That doesn't mean that the cut is relevant for the bull market, right? To continue. It's not. It could be even that the cut means big trouble, that they have to cut because something breaks in the economy. That could happen. Anyways, guys, I'm severely over time already. I have to end it here, guys. So unfortunately, but I really enjoyed it today. Thanks for all the donation and the love that you have given this channel, that you've given me. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the signals, the analysis a little bit. So if you want to help me more, then you can smash up the like button right now. Be subscribed to the channel, notifications on for more analysis. And from time to time, I think we should do that drill here to look at the analysis. So yeah, that's it. Wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I catch you in the next one, in the next video or live stream. Bye.